Okay. The arrival at Stokeworth. So I'm just going to go ahead and give a little recap of what happened. So after braving the burning end, Sir Patric of Firemarch and Malcolm Stokeworth, along with their new group of followers, went to Stokeworth where a tournament was being held. Resolute to meet again, Malcolm and Sir Patric parted ways for the time being, where Patrick immediately went to sign up on the lists. The tournament was the largest Patrick had entered, and the glory was there to be taken if only he could triumph in a tilt or two. Since Robert's rebellion, many lords had been seeking capable men to replace the dead. Lords could provide meals and comfort instead of the road and an empty belly. There was much at stake. Okay, so essentially you've entered the town. It's a sizable place. Stokeworth is. You and Malcolm parted ways with him going to do his thing, and you going to sign up for the joust. So you head to the tourney field, which is just outside the walls of the keep, and you can see the pavilions already being set up, and there's just a ton of tents off to the side of the tourney grounds where you see the actual jousting fields being constructed. Mm-hmm. So there is a pavilion next to the fields where they are taking entrance to the jousts. So you will need to go there if you want to sign up.
So I head into town and kind of look around. I'm sure there's quite a few number of people there because of the tournament.
Right.
And Sir Patrick might be a little bit taken aback, but then again, this is what he's been after. So he goes lashes up his horse and say, there, boy, I'll be back. And he heads off towards the tournament grounds. And he looks for the place to sign up. And in the meanwhile, he kind of tries to scope out any competition that he may come across.
Well, you head to the pavilion. It's pretty obvious where to sign up. It's similar in most tournaments around the kingdoms, even though this is a bigger one. You head towards that pavilion, and you have to wait in line, a small line. So you see a couple guys, and these guys don't look like, they look similar to you, probably hedge knights with mismatched armor and worn gear and that sort of thing. But you don't see any of the actual, probably the highborn, as they're probably send their pages or squires to sign up for them. So you wait in the line, and you hear a couple names, none that ring a bell. You hear something about a guy named Edric of the Fork and a couple other random people, but you don't hear anybody that you really have ever heard of or ridden against before. You enter the pavilion. It's pretty simple. There's a long table, and then there's a man sitting behind it with a small mustache. He's about middle-aged, probably. And there's this big book in front of him, and he's just dipping his quill and writing a name. And he looks up when you come in, and he's like, all right, this is the sign up for the joust only. And he looks up at you, and he's like, what's your name?
Sir Patric.
Sir Patrick. He's like, of?
Sir Patrick Fire Eater.
He rolls his eyes and writes it down. And he's like, all right, let me ask you, are you wagering today, or are you just riding for the benefit of the glory?
The honor will be mine, my lord. Good sir.
So he looks up, he's like, are you wagering?
A bit short on gold at the moment. You have any work for a man like me?
He rolls his eyes again, and he's like, if you want to wager, you would wager your horse and your armor.
He kind of laughs, and he's like, my blood's not that rich, sir. My blood's not that rich.
He's like, fine, and he puts an X next to your name out to the right, and he's like, all right, you'll be in the preliminary rounds of tilts starting this afternoon. He's like, come back after your midday meal. Be ready to ride.
Kind of gives a nod and kind of backs off and looks around and look for what else there is to do.
Well, in the tournament ground, they're basically constructing everything currently. In town, there's just a ton of stuff to do. There's taverns, and there's actually, you saw some theater people doing a show on the sidewalk or on the side of the street. It's a very big town. You've been probably to bigger towns, but this is a very jam-packed place right now because of this tournament, it's a sizable tournament for sure. Okay. So it's up to you how you kill your time.
So I'm looking, let's see, okay, there, character. I know that I had to put some sort of drawbacks, which would be debt, which would also be the reason he doesn't want to go back into debt anymore. Mm-hmm. But he's always looking to make a bit of quick coin. So he kind of looks around and scours the city, trying not to spend too much money. He doesn't drink at all. He doesn't go to any whorehouses. He just kind of keeps his eyes and ears out to any opportunities that might come his way to make a bit of coin.
Okay, why don't you roll knowledge streetwise? So if you don't have streetwise, which I don't think you do, nope. So just roll raw knowledge then.
Roll a knowledge. Trying to figure out. So you just
click the big knowledge thing. Okay, 7. Let's see.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you don't find anything readily apparent there. You do hear some people talking about some strife in the town between a few of the nobles, but it's hard to know what there is to do to help those people. You don't know who those people are, so there's nothing obvious as far as making coin goes.
Okay. Is there any? Do I have any contacts in the town? If I've been here before?
You have not been here before. You've spent most of your younger days in the Reach, which is fairly far away, like a week away at least ride. And this is one of your first times in the Crown Lands. You've been going to a couple of tournaments here and there that has led up to this tournament. This is tournament season, if you will, because of we're at peace. And been at peace for 3 years, so ever since Robert's Rebellion. So the only person you know in town is Malcolm and his group of followers, which are also your followers essentially. One is the leader of them is named John, I believe. They're the people you saved from the burning building. And you saved a baby and a mother and that sort of thing too. So, if you want, you could talk to them if you so desired.
What I'm going to do is just kind of like, I'm a stranger in a strange land here, and I kind of shrug my shoulders, and I don't want to spend a bunch of my money, especially if I might be getting the shit kicked out of me very soon. I don't need that money. And so when I head back to my followers, and I'm going to be like, yay, I'm going to roll into where they're gathered.
Yep, they're setting up out by the turning grounds in a tent.
And how many of them are there?
I think there's like 8 of them. There's a big group of them.
Any young strapping lads?
Yeah, there's a younger boy. It looks like he's like 14 or so.
All right, I'm going to walk into there and I'm going to look around. I'm going to say, hey, you, yes, you, sir, what's your name?
The guy's like, my name is Brandon. And he looks at you strangely. He says, what can I do for you, Sir Patric?
Hello, Brandon. I'm going to extend my hand, give this man a stout handshake, and I'm going to say, listen here, Brandon. By the looks of you, you know how to handle yourself in a battle. Is that true?
He shrugs and he's like, not really, sir. He's like, I've only fought once, and it was by happenstance.
He says, honest answer, young man, but that's not the right answer. The right answer is, yes, sir, I know how to handle myself. They call me the Scourge of the Seven Kingdoms. Listen here. Every hedge knight needs a squire. Every knight needs a squire. Every lord needs a lady. How about you come with me? We're going to make a big splash over here.
He's like, I don't know how to squire. I don't know how to fit your armor or do any of the squire type of stuff. Sir, I would love to be a squire, but I just don't know what I would do.
So he kind of goes in, Sir Patric is kind of a deceptionist kind of guy, and kind of not squirrely, but he's a little bit charismatic, and he can tell a tale. So he goes into how he was in jail or whatever, and how he squired for this guy, and look at me now, And he's not much to look at, but he's like, still like, look at me now, ready to joust in the tournament.
Yeah, and but to this guy you are, though. You're a knight at least, and he's nothing.
To win the love of some lovely lady. And he kicks his hand over that way, and there's some toothless whore going, hi. So he's like, he sits down with the kid, and he does the best he can to show him how to maintain the armor and sharpen the sword and strap on his stuff and look a little bit regal, look a little bit like he knows what he's doing.
Okay, so the kid helps as best he can. I mean, you're really showing him, and he's like, well, I'll try, sir. I'll try my best. And so he'll do it.
There is no try.
So he agrees. He agrees to squire for you. So you have a squire now named Brandon.
And he's like, Brandon, just stay by me, follow my lead. We're going to be just fine. At the end of this, if I win the tournament, we'll all get laid. Not once, not twice. 7 times. You're a young man. You can handle it.
He laughs and he's like, making the 7. I like it. So he agrees, and so through the morning of you showing him how to at least strap your fittings down on your armor and saddle your horse and things like that, and you show him the quick and dirty, right? But it takes a couple hours, and by that time you eat and you're ready to go. You hear the trumpet of meaning that the tilts will begin soon. The first day of the joust.
All right, so Sir Patric and his right hand man Brandon stride out to the jousting grounds, trying to puff up their chest, look as capable as they can.
Okay, so you head and you notice the bleachers are all set up, and unfortunately it's not as packed as you would have hoped. It's the typical first day of jousting. You've seen it before, being a hedge knight. They typically put the hedge knights to get against each other on the first day and kind of give all the more royals buys in the first round, so kind of to weed you guys out. You do notice that Malcolm is in the stands there. He's sitting next to an older lady. She looks, she would be attractive if her one side of her face wasn't completely a ruin. She has like a milky white eye and scar and that sort of thing, but you don't really comprehend. He's definitely talking to her, but otherwise you see some other people, and you see like Brandon's friends, like John and the other people that you saved. I think the girl was named Annabelle. I don't remember offhand, but they're cheering for you as you enter the tournament ground. So you do have some supporters there, which is not totally unexpected, but not exactly expected either. But Malcolm is definitely there, and he's watching you joust.
So Sir Patric walks onto the grounds, his kind of boots going out across the grass, and he looks up, and there's banners fluttering in the air. He looks across the stands, and he sees Malcolm, and he gives a salute, and then he looks at the lady he's with, and at first he's like, "Whoa, good on you, Malcolm." And then she turns around like this, and a milky white eye. And go like this, and I talk to Brandon. I say, Brandon, this is why we're down there. This is why he's up here.
He's like, yeah, I hope my first one's not a milky white-eyed lady.
He just kind of laughs and continues on his way.
Okay. So the same guy with the pencil-thin mustache comes over and nods for you to go over to your... He's like, make yourself ready. You'll ride in a few moments. And so Brandon takes the reins of your horse and leads it to one side of the field. And he holds your shield in one arm and kind of helps best he can get you onto the horse and ready. And you look at the other side and you see someone getting ready himself, and he's wearing just kind of like he has a breastplate on. It's nothing special. He doesn't even have his own sigil painted on his shield. He does not have a squire, as far as you can tell. He's getting himself ready by himself. So, and then there is a person that are handing him his tournament lance. But yeah, he's getting ready, and so whenever you're ready to.
So Sir Patric, trying to maintain appearances of being a little bit more than he is, would kind of play up the fact he has a squire and, pat the boy on the shoulder, then hop up into his mount and kind of, circle around, kind of get it, and then hold his hands out and get his lance, and then he's ready to go.
Okay. And so, yep. So the criers, one second. So the criers call out and they're like, in the first match of the evening, we have Sir Patric Fire Eater. And there's a mix of groans, and then also John and Brandon's people and Malcolm are cheering and clapping and trying to boost the crowd, and they're kind of apathetic at this point, right? But and then your opponent, they call his name Sir Edric of the Fork, and there's just basically dead silence for this guy. And so you've never heard of him, and clearly he's as much of a no one as you are, if not worse, obviously. So he dips his head and pulls his visor down over his face and gets ready.
So I really wish I had some gimmick at this point that I could have a little bit of gunpowder or something. It's a little fire that comes to my mouth or something like that. That's for another time.
Maybe next time.
Yeah. So he gets ready to go. He kind of claps himself on the armor, and he kind of says as loud as he can with as deep a voice. He goes, "Let's hear it for Sir Edric as well." He said, "It's not fair that he has no one here that loves him." Like that.
And so there's actually some laughter that comes out of the crowd. And even if you didn't mean it as a jest, Edric you can't see his face, but he's turns his horse around and kicks it in the flanks and heads towards you.
Let's get it on.
All right. So here's how this works. So you're both at a charge. So if you look at the page 168, if you initiative, you go at the same time because you hit at the same time, right? So it's not a big deal. You're going to be rolling your fighting spears. You won't be able to use this auto roll feature on here because you're rolling for a negative dice because you're charging technically. So basically, in your spears or your tourney lance, where it says, say you rolled that, right? What it would roll, it was roll your spears fighting. So for you, let's see. So what you're going to be rolling is you're going to be rolling 5 dice, keep 3, okay? Because of your -1 to your to your roll, because you get that both you guys get -1 because you're both technically charging. So each time you're going to be rolling 5 dice, keep 3. So you'll roll that every time, unless you use one of these attacks that are different. And so your defense is your passive riding. So passive attributes are 4 times the attribute plus any specialties that make sense. So yours is 14 actually, right? Because you have 3 animal handling times 4, that's 12, and then you have 2 riding, so that's 14. And then whatever his is the same. And so you roll, and then these attacks: aggressive, brace, defensive, ice fixed, high in the saddle. They all do different things based on how you want to attack your opponent. And so he will be doing different things too. You win based on this table. You can knock somebody's health down to 0. That would like knock them out. Or you can do something on this table, like for instance, if you get 2 degrees of success, your lance strikes your opponent, and the opponent takes damage and must succeed a formidable animal handling check or be dishorsed. Obviously, if you dishorse him, you win. You can unhorse each other at the same time. If that happens, you get up and you keep riding if you can. If somebody's health goes to 0, then the person loses. Okay, so if you're so injured, you can't go on, right? Basically, you hit. You're running into each other, so it's no big deal. As far as missing, it's based on your not based on your combat defense, based on your animal, right? Your passive. So, for instance, if you want to do aggressive, then you basically lower your shield more than once, and you apply a bonus of 1 or 2 to the results of your fighting test, and subtract the same amount from your defense. Okay, braced. You focus on bracing yourself. You subtract 1 or 2 from the attack from your fighting to add those to your defense. Defensive. Embraced. You don't add it to your passive. You add it to when you're trying to stay like on your horse. And defensive is you apply 1 or 2. To your passive animaling test, and then determine the difficulty your opponents hit you. Subtract that from the result of their test. So basically, defensive and aggressive are opposite of each other, and braced is when you get hit, you stay on your horse easier. Eyes fixed is, let's see, you can choose.
You increase your fighting, but if they hit you, they do more damage.
Okay, so apply a bonus +1 to your fighting test. However, increase the base damage of your opponent's attack by 1. So if your opponent defeats you, so basically you just go walloped. High in the saddle. You rated high in the saddle, which gives you a slight advantage in height and momentum. Apply a +1 or 2 to your fighting, and subtract the same amount from your animal handling test to remain in the saddle. So high in the saddle is the opposite of braced. Okay, so you pick one of those, and I'll pick one of those, and we'll go from there. I'm going to pick. I can't tell you actually. So I've already picked mine. So you can just tell me what you want. One? You do. Yeah. I guess you could do. Yeah, you might not have to. Let's see. No, you don't have to. You can just do a normal one. Mm-hmm. So normal one, you're just going to do your 5, keep 3.
Yeah, I mean, that might be to my advantage for the first round.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm just going to stick with the basics that my mentor taught me.
Okay.
And he flips down his visor, and his heart starts to pound, and he says to himself, I must size up my opponent. And he's going to go ahead and do the first pass just as a basic kind of attack.
Yeah, that's fine. So this dude's doing an aggressive because he's ticked. And so I'll roll, and then you can roll. So I'm going to roll. For him, it's 4 dice. Keep 2. Well, keep 2. Right? Yeah. So he rolls a 10. So basically so the way it works is he rolled a 10. Yeah, versus your path versus 14 for you, right? And so his lance breaks off your shield. Doesn't do anything. So 13 versus 13. So it's 1 degree of success. Lance shatters on opponent's shield. The opponent takes damage and must succeed on a challenging animal handling test. So your damage, what does your damage say that it is? I think it should be 6.
Let me look here for my spears.
Yeah, it should be in your weapons.
Terrain lance, yeah, 6.
Okay, so he takes 1 damage, and then he has to roll. He's got to beat a 9. So, oh wait, and he's got aggressive. So he was +1, still missed you. So -1, so 12. So even though he's aggressive, you break a lance against his shield. He doesn't break his, and he wobbles but stays on the horse as you pass, and you guys gallop back to where you started, and you go again.
So he circles around, and he has to get a new lance from someone.
Mm-hmm. So Brandon runs over with the new lance and hands it to you, and he's like, almost got him. Just really kind of not very helpful advice, obviously.
He goes, remember, boy, the basics. And then he says, with a little flair, and then he shouts out again to the audience, and he says, Sir Edric of the Fork, after I knock your ass clean off the saddle, I expect you to replace all these shattered lances.
So why don't you roll like persuasion, insight, something like that. Basically just persuasion.
Let's see what I got here.
Or charm. If you have charm, I'll let you do that.
I think my persuasion. I think I'm more kind of a tricky person. So 10.
Okay. So there are some cheers in the crowd, plus bolstered by Brandon and Malcolm, who are talking you up in the crowd, and so they cheer. And Hedrick, you just hear him just like grunt all the way from down at the end of the field, and just kicks his horse and charges you again.
What do I get from that? Anything?
Oh, from this? No, you don't get it. But it'll help you later on, the more the crowd likes you.
All right. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do a basic.
Okay.
Let's do it live.
So he whiffs.
I keep 4, right?
No,
3.
3, yeah. You roll 5, keep 3.
Yeah, because there's penalty.
So
13, right? So I
12. Yep. So your both lances both miss. And since he's aggressive, but he's aggressive, so
I did hit him.
You did. Yep. 12 for 12. So again. So 6. So now he has 6 damage already. And then he's got to roll to make sure he doesn't fall off his horse. So he's able to stay on his horse again. And he's like cursing. You hear him curse as you guys come back to your original positions. As he's getting dinged up and he hasn't even hit you yet.
So I'm kind of cursing too, and I have to get another lance.
You didn't even hit him, so you didn't break yours.
Oh, I didn't. I thought I hit him.
Nope. You whiffed him. And so...
So I kind of look at the lance like it's the lance's fault.
Yeah, what the hell?
And let's go again.
All right.
And I'm going to do aggressive this time. And this time I kind of like, okay, it's time to finish this. So I'm really, really aggressive. I want to lower my shield a little bit more than I should.
So you're doing aggressive?
Yeah, I'm going to head after this guy.
Yeah, he's doing high in the saddle. With 2. Are you doing 2 or 1?
2 aggressive, you mean?
Yeah, you can do a 1 or a 2 in aggressive, so you can raise. You're fighting by 2.
We'll do 1 for now.
God, he's gonna do 2. Oh God.
So 5d6, keep 3, and I'll just do +2, right?
Or +1, whichever one you want to do.
Yeah, +1. There you go. Boom.
16. So 16 is actually 1 degree of success. So he has to roll versus 9, but he gets a -2. So this will be a -2 on this roll. So he's better on his horse than he is jousting. So you hit him and you break your lance against him, and he still doesn't fall.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. And he whiffs, and he is just like you just hear him just a string of cuss words as you pass him again. And the guy's like, Brandon looks up and he's like, you almost got him.
I'm gonna shout out to the crowd again. I said, someone check this knight's saddle for glue.
And everybody's like, what's glue?
I don't know what for pitch.
And there's some laughter that goes on, and like the John and Malcolm and those guys are still like cheering. So this is the 4th pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to do it again.
All right. I'm going to do aggressive 2 this time. Can you go first?
No, just roll. You already declared it.
Roll.
That doesn't even beat your passive, does it?
It's 14. But I'm aggressive +2, so it will, right?
Yeah.
So it'll equal it.
It would be, yeah. I mean, okay. So 17 versus his. So his is he was high in the saddle. So, his is 13. So that's still 1 degree of success for both of you. He takes more damage. He's like getting lumped up pretty good. And you take, so what's your armor rating?
My armor rating is going to be combat. Where's this? Combat, defense, health.
So it's on your right there. If you scroll over to your right and you see all your weapons, it's below that.
Oh, okay. 5.
Okay. So you take 3 damage, 3 health. These things do a lot of damage. And then we'll both roll to stay in the saddle. So just go into your health notes and do that there. That's what I do. There's no real way to do it at the top for health. It just shows your maximum. Just do health notes and put in there how much you've been hurt. Okay, so he was high in the saddle, so he gets a -2 to stay in the saddle. So let's see what he rolls. Oh my gosh. So
this guy's glued to his saddle.
No, he's not that good either. It's funny. All right, so you're gonna roll your ride. So you
No
can
penalties or anything like that. So.
Well, you went aggressive, yes and no.
So aggressive, so it's going to be a -2 to my.
No, it was to your passive. It was to your passive defense.
Oh yeah, okay. So there's no penalties.
Right.
So I'm just going to keep my riding.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you guys both break lances against each other that time, and nobody goes down. He's actually forced to take an injury because he's hurt. Mm-hmm. So he takes an injury to. Actually, has to take 2 of them. So he's kind of slumped over, and yeah, and you can tell he's labored as he goes back into his corner and gets his next lance.
So, Sir Patric, knowing his history, he knows the long game. He knows how good a protege can be and how much he can help you. So he wants to play Brandon up, and he says, "Yes, Brandon." He's like, "How does he look? How does he look? I can't see with this visor."
He's like, "He looks like he's hurt his shoulder. It looks like one of your lances got through his shield. I would say his shield arm's hurt, my lord."
He says, "Should I just, keep going at him steady? Should I try to finish him? What do you think?"
He's like, I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to you.
And he says, "Indecisiveness, lad, is never rewarded." And he flips down his visor again, and he's going to go aggressive.
Okay.
He's trying to teach him some lessons.
Oh, and yeah, he has this. Yeah, the injury didn't. Oh, I'm not rolling with him as why. So that's only an 8. He only rolled an 8. He missed. An 18 versus. That's actually 2 degrees of success finally. So 2 degrees of success. He has to beat a 12, and he's got a -2 to the roll. So this last one, he whiffs, and you come up under his shield and hit him right in the chest, and he goes flying off. You can narrate it however you want.
So I give my little lesson to Brandon, and I tell him about being decisive and flip down my visor, and I just really focus on him. And we're going out forward, and there's dirt flying up as the horses kick up the soil. And just at the moment of last impact, I kind of duck to my right, raise my shield, and raise my lance up underneath his chin. And as it connects, I just feel the give of his, getting that chink in his armor. And I feel him go off his horse. I stay on. I turn around, and I see him just topple to the ground.
So you hit him in the top of the chest and the gorget, and he goes flying off his horse with a crash into the dirt. And the crowd cheers, mostly led by Malcolm and your friends, but everybody else is cheering too because it was a good score. So you broke you went 6 or 7 passes, and so they seem to be happy. They're cheering. The guy is helped from the ground. He's wobbly. He's not dead or anything as far as you can tell, but he's not going to have a good day. That's for sure. And
so I'll wheel my horse around and raise my lance in the air like this.
And they're all cheering, "Yeah, Sir Patric, Fire Eater, Fire Eater!" You hear a couple people yell. So you've won your first tilt. And so as you come back, Brandon and the pencil-thin mustache guy is standing there, and he's like, "Good job." He's like, "You won't tilt again until tomorrow, so try not to get too drunk. After you break your fast in the morning, come back here and you'll have your tilt." He's like, "I don't know who you're going to be facing yet, so don't ask."
He hops down from his horse, and he tries to act as professional as he can. And he just goes like that. He turns around to Brandon, lets him unstrap his armor, and tries to maintain appearances as he does.
Okay. And so as you're getting 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 your armor taken off, and Brandon's like fiddling with the straps and not doing such a great job. The guy is like, "Oh, I forgot your purse," and he drops a sack of coins into your hand.
And he goes, "Hey mate, what's your name?" to the pencil sash guy.
He's like, "My name is I've already used all my his name is Eddard."
Hey, come here. Listen, Eddard. If I would like to send, my squire out for a good time, nice ladies, not too dirty, but not too clean either, not too much venereal disease, where's the best place to send them?
And the guy like kind of grabs his chin and he's like, "If you want the marginally better prostitutes, head to the to Long Street." He's like, "You'll see it."
So, okay, he's like, he nods again, and then he waits for Brandon to take off his armor, and he said, "You see there, decisiveness will always win the day." And it says, "Now for your next test. I'm going to give you some coin. I want you to go out and have a good time. But I want you to come back with a clear head in the morning." He says, "Learn to tame your passions. It will always pay off in the end."
So the boy is like, okay. So how much do you give him? You haven't even looked in your purse to see how much is there.
I don't know. How much does it take to get a whore and some?
Not very much. A few coppers. I mean,
yeah. We'll do that.
So you basically look in your purse and you have 3 silvers, and so that's actually a pretty good prize for your first tilt. In other first tilts that you've won, you've gotten a few coppers instead. So this is actually quite good prize money, like you had expected. People told you. So you got 3 silvers. So you give 3 coppers to him, or you give 5 coppers. It's insignificant. So you give him some money, and he helps you get your armor back to your tent. And or if I don't know, are you staying in town or are you staying? Actually,
stay next, where everybody else is from our group.
Yeah, so you stay with John and them, and so it's free anyway because all the rooms are booked in town. You don't run into Malcolm, unfortunately. You don't know where he is, but you assume he's busy. And so Brandon brings your armor back to the tent and sits it down and lays it out and everything, and takes care of it as best he knows how before he takes off. In the late afternoon to secure his reward for himself. So you have the night to do whatever you would want to do.
I want to head back to my group and talk with them, see what they need. Sir Patric was very flamboyant in front of the crowd, but he tried to be very humble with these folks that he helped, and try to see if there's anything they need, anything we could use the silvers for.
So they're doing pretty well. You notice they're in the process of they sell dried meats, and you know this from what they've told you, and so
jerky.
Jerky and stuff like that, and so they're selling them in the the tents area of the outside the tournament grounds, and they're like, with your win today, you could really help us sell some of these by using your personality and your great victory. So basically, they're asking you to be a spokesman for their dried jerky, and they're like, this would really help us sell these. Maybe if you could just, I don't know, go and we'll bring some, and you could make an announcement. We'll sit you on the barrel here, and you can maybe help us that way.
We have the meats. He's all about that. He likes some jerky. He likes some beef sticks. So he's down with being a jerky salesman. Slim Jim.
Okay. All right. So you head out into
Patric Slim Jim.
Yeah. So you head out into the crowd, and they're like, "This is really good." So you don't have to lie, and they give you some, and it actually is quite good. It's venison from what you can tell. And it seems very good, so it's not like you're ripping anybody off or anything. And so you basically, they find this one area that basically makes essentially a cross, for two, one going east west, was going north south through the pavilions. And so there's a lot of foot traffic through there, and they put a barrel like off the side of the road, and they're like, okay, I guess if you want to get their attention, you should just climb up here and do your thing.
And he says, this jerky is really good, but it's also rather salty. If there's one thing that would go with this, it'd be a nice tankard of ale. Can you fetch me one?
And one of the group goes to get you some ale, and they come back, and it's average, kind of stuff. But yeah, okay. enough that is gonna maybe give you a buzz.
He's sitting out there in the crossroads. Every once in a while, some drunk asshole will come past and be like, "Hey, fire eater, yeah!" And I'll be like, "Yeah," And I'll say things like, "After a hard day's work in the saddle, a man works up mighty thirst. Not only does he need nourishment, but he needs fulfillment. And from that, I use John's jerky. There's nothing better. There's nothing better to end a day in the saddle than a nice whack of beef steak washed down with a cold ale." And he takes a big hunk of it, rips it off, and he guzzles it. And he's like, "Ah,
okay."
That's what and that's his motto is, "That's what a man needs."
Okay, so go ahead and roll. You can roll deception or persuasion. I don't care, and just give yourself +2 to your roll. And
deception. This isn't really a bluff, so I'll just do a straight up deception.
Okay, that's fine.
So it'd be roll D4.
Or you can just click it, and then we'll just add 2 to the roll.
Yes, that's easiest. It's 12.
So 12. That's pretty good. So on the first afternoon, John, you stand out there for a couple hours. You get bored after a while. You're not going to do this forever, obviously. And but when you go back to the tents to eat and rest, John's very happy. He's like, "Yeah, I think we sold quite a few more than we would have without you. I can't appreciate it enough." And he gives you a couple silver, or probably 1 silver, to compensate you for your time. So, and he's like, "We should do this again tomorrow, especially if you win."
He kind of starts to nod, but then just to stay kind of character consistent and do some good RP, kind of in the back of my head, I'd be like, pretty happy. But then I have this debt thing, right?
Yeah.
So I got to think about what kind of debt this is. And didn't I say like gambling? He got some gambling problems.
You didn't say. We can. You can make it whatever you want.
Yeah.
You owe somebody some money.
I think I owe some bad people some money.
Yeah, it's probably one of the reasons you're not in the Reach anymore and you left, would be my guess.
Yeah, so I kind of nod my head, and I kind of put the silver in my pocket. And I've been pretty generous with sharing this stuff, but this one I'm just going to kind of keep back.
Okay.
Just try to pay down that debt.
So you have four silver pretty much in addition to anything you had before. 3 for the 3 for the tilt and 1 for the jerky marketing. And so So is there anything else you want to do that night before you get ready for the next tilt?
He's kind of a happy-go-lucky lad, but is keeping his head straight at this point. He's going to drink his ale, but not drink too much. And is there any way I can upgrade any of my armor or weapons or anything like that?
No, it's not really something that happens in this setting. It's your weapons and armor are standard. To get something that would be better, like a castle forged steel sword, it's It would be.
I mean, it need to be like a lord of something, or
You'd have to be, yeah. You would have to have real money. A couple silvers would keep you for a couple weeks. As far as food and lodgings go, but
Mhm.
you're not going to be able to buy anything better. Essentially, I mean, your weapons and armor are, they're pretty run of the mill, like everybody's is.
Mhm.
You can get better armor as far as different kinds of armor, but as far as like upgrading your stuff, it really doesn't happen. So,
All right, so I kind of head back and hope that Brandon didn't lose his head, and kind of wait up for him and see if he returns, not too wasted, not too roughed up by the ladies.
So Brandon comes back, and it's you're getting ready to fall asleep, and he peeks in and he's like, Sir Patric. He's like, I have to really, really thank you for the coins you gave me earlier. I'm gonna sleep good tonight.
And he's not like slurring his speech or anything crazy.
No, he doesn't seem like he's drunk at all.
He's like, good man. It was well earned.
He's like, yeah, I only had one drink. I know I have to be ready tomorrow. I'll be up early to get your armor ready.
And he kind of goes to bed pretty satisfied with the day at that point.
Okay. So the next day you wake up early and Brandon's already in your room, and he's basically trying to clean your armor, and you realize he's like, just
moving the dirt around.
Yeah, basically moving the dirt around. You get up and you basically correct him, and he's like, oh, okay, but he's very eager, obviously, and so it's sunrise or a little after. You hear the commotion outside as people get ready for the day. And to watch the joust, you haven't heard the horn yet. You probably have an hour or two before they actually, everything starts.
So I head outside the tent to take my morning piss.
Yeah.
And I'm standing out there, and it's the morning, and everything's just getting started. And a few wenches walk by, and they're like, fire eater, more like fire hose. So I kind of zip up and head back into the tent and grab Brandon. And it's the early day. The stench from the night and the revelry from the night before is hopefully a little dissipated. It's a new day, and both of us have clear heads. We haven't drank too much, and we're ready to do some damage to somebody.
Okay. So John brings you jerky and actually poached eggs.
I get a +3 to all rolls from the jerky.
Yeah, no. So John brings you breakfast, poached eggs and jerky, obviously. You're always going to eat jerky with these guys.
I love some poached eggs.
Yeah, so and some hard cheese.
It's a song of ice and fire, though, so you need to go through the list of the food.
Yeah, I can't do that. I just can't do it. And so anyway, they bring you the food, and you eat it, and so you're well nourished as you get to the tourney grounds, and you notice a stark change. First of all, there's you're probably there half an hour to an hour early, and the stands are full. There's a lot of people there now, and as you look around, you notice a vast difference from the motley crew of yesterday and today. There are real knights there with like half plate armor, very well maintained, beautiful sigils on their shield and on their, not jerkins, but whatever you wear over armor that shows your sigils. Jerkies. And so they have, big horses and, dersters and coursers, and, real men. And so you see a couple jousts go by. You're not the first one of the day this time. So you're like just kind of hanging around waiting and watching. And, you see this like the hedge knights going against the, well-armed men every time. And the hedge knights are just getting run down. So obviously they put the hedge knights against the more, affluent knights. Trying to kind of stack the favor, stack the tilts in their favor. So eventually the Eddard comes up to you and he's like, "Are you ready? You're going to be facing Bauman Birch. He's the husband of Felice Stokeworth in town. And Felice Stokeworth, from talking to Malcolm, is his cousin actually, and she is one of the ladies of this town. I think she's the eldest daughter. Yeah. So you don't know anything about Bauman Birch. You can roll knowledge if you want to see if you can figure something out. Besides that,
that's Malcolm's cousin's husband.
Yep.
Hey, let's do a little knowledge. Drop a little knowledge on that ass.
You could also do status if that's any better. Status tournaments.
Knowledge 2. Status is 2. Same.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Eh.
So you have heard of him, and you have seen him at other tournaments. He's not just a random guy who's here just because he's married to someone. He's actually a tournament knight, and that he's won a couple tournaments. So he's skilled. You don't know how skilled, but he's at least skilled enough to win some of these smaller tournaments. In fact, a couple weeks ago, or probably a month ago, there's another tournament somewhere else in the Crownlands, one of the first ones you came to from the Reach, and he won that tournament. So you do remember that. So he's good. You know that.
So Sir Patric says to Brandon, he's like, Bauman Birch. He's not a chump. He's not somebody we can take lightly. He says, on one hand, it's going to be a tough challenge, but on the other, all more the glory. Says, remember that, and we'll fight valiantly, and we'll make a good show of it regardless. And it says, strap me up, lad.
So Brandon does, and you can tell he's really nervous from what you told him, and so he straps a couple things on wrong, and you have to correct him as he does it, and he's like kind of flustered, and he's like, I think you can do it, sir. I have faith in you. I have faith in you.
And he looks up in the stands. Any of his posse up there?
Yep, they're all there. They're harder to see this time because they are, there's just so many of them, so many people up there. But you do make out Malcolm, that woman, and some, around them, and not exactly in the same spot, but because Malcolm's sitting like where the nobles are sitting, and John and them are sitting more where the peasants are. But you see everybody that is there that was there yesterday.
Okay. How long would it take Brandon to get up to Malcolm? Like rounds of combat, that sort of thing.
Rounds of combat.
It's probably too long. I mean,
it would be difficult. It would. Yeah, just getting up there would be difficult. But
all right, I was thinking if you could send them up to pick Malcolm's brain about this guy, but that's fine. Okay. All right, let's get ready to rumble here.
Okay. So same rules as last time, obviously. So Bauman, who has big armor, right? He has the thick and well-maintained half-plate armor. You can tell his shield is ornate, his armor shimmering, and his helm is like a ornate helm. It looks like it's on the top of it is an eagle, basically sitting on top of his head. And so he doesn't even he doesn't salute. He just puts his visor down. His squire comes, hands him the lance, and in practice ease, he sets it up and waits for the judge or whoever to tell you guys to ride.
My coat of arms should be like a guy eating some jerky.
A walking advertisement.
Yeah. I have like NASCAR patches everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Okay. So,
I'm going to do a basic attack. Measure him up.
He's going to do the same. So, okay.
Let's see, 5D. Mine's 5D6, keep 3, right?
Yep. Just making sure what it is.
Boom. Can't get much better than that.
Yeah. All right. 18 versus 16. So
what's his defense?
His passive defense is 16, 19.
I can never hit him. If I roll perfect, I can never hit him.
I'll lower his ride down to 2. So it's 18 then. So yep. You just got to use your things.
No, I mean if he's that good, he's that good.
Well, it's just his animal handling is 4.
How do the destiny points work?
So yeah, you can use a destiny point for an extra bonus die. Because you would want to spend them, not burn them, right? Burning is like you're about to die or something.
Right.
So basically, you get an extra bonus die. Or you can. That's the main way to use them in a situation like this.
And you have to call them out beforehand, right?
I'll let you roll another die if you want to, but no, you don't keep another die though. Yeah.
Yeah, but on this one I can't do any better. So
yeah, right.
Might as well just keep this.
Right. So
and I think this might be foretelling my fate. The 666 here.
Mark of the Beast. So you hit him, and he hit you. So both 1 degrees of success. You both did normal, so you're both just going to roll animal handling ride to see if you stay in your horse.
So did my HPs go back to?
Yeah, you're
full.
Yep, you're full now. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he hit you for 2 damage. You'll be hit for 2 damage, and you hit him for 8, so it doesn't hurt him. His armor rating is 9 with that armor.
This guy's tough. So I do my ride.
Yep.
Come on, baby.
Don't roll lower than 9. Okay.
Good.
So you both ride into each other, and your lances both shatter, and dramatically, and like the crowd goes ooh, because you shattered your lance against him, but you both stay in your saddles quite easily and pass each other, and then you round, and he doesn't even look at you as you go by. Where the other guy was pissed at you, this guy seems to not even care.
It's like business as usual.
Yeah.
All right. I just need to stay on my horse at this point. So let's see which one gives me the bonus to the riding skill.
I believe that is braced. Yeah. Add the same amount result to your animal handling test to remain in the saddle.
Yeah. So, I get going about this guy. My horse is a decent horse, I'm sure, but I'm sure he has this like big black steed.
Yep.
Big thick armor, and I actually do like one of this perfect attack, right? Same type of thing I did with the guy before, but it just shatters on him. I'm like, as I turn, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, that's like one of the best passes I've ever had. And he stayed on the saddle, and I look back at him, and he doesn't seem disturbed whatsoever. So I was like, I got to outlast this guy. I know I'm a very determined guy, so I'm going to stay in my saddle. I squeeze my horse a little more. The inside of my thighs start to ache, and I lower my lance. I get ready for the next pass.
Okay. He turns, and he basically has a more erect posture than you do, but he's not sitting high up, standing in his stirrups or anything. He looks like he's going to do the exact same thing he did last time in just a normal pass, and he does. So you both miss. So you missed and he missed. So you both, basically you're kind of squatted down and just playing it defensive, and he basically doesn't take that into account. He whiffs you, but your defensive posture, you whiff him as well. And like everybody oohs and ahs again because, basically you notice that you're probably a big underdog. And so he still doesn't act like, anything's really a big deal as he goes back to his side.
So I'm going to go around and I'm going to say, Brandon, it's like this man, he may be my better. He's at least my equal. And I say to him, if we're going to have any influence on this, we need to get the crowd going. And he's like, let's see what you can do to get the crowd going. Do you have any ideas?
And Brandon's like, hit him again. I think that's the best you got. Just put a good wallop into him. I know you can do it, sir.
It's like, what do you mean a wallop? It's last time I hit this guy, I shattered my lance.
Maybe he'll ride poorly. And he just starts throwing his hands up, and he's like, Patric, fire eater, Sir Patric, fire eater. And you see some people cheer, but it's like Malcolm and those guys and a few others. But yeah, he's not going to be able to do anything, you don't think.
So he'll give his opponent a salute, but then he'll also do a very aggressive flourish of this lance and put it down. And I'll go aggressive one, just to try to get the crowd going a little bit. Maybe he'll give me some sort of bonus in the future. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to put on a good show.
Okay.
Hold off the show at this point because I know he might be my better. 5d6. Keep 3 plus 1. Meh.
So you did aggressive, right? So yours 12. So hit you for 1. He does 2 damage, and then you need to roll to stay on your horse. And you do. So this time your lance misses and his shatters off your shield, but you're able easily to stay in your saddle. And people ooh and ah again as he doesn't knock you down.
So I have 4 damage at this point. So I circle my horse around. I take my lance and clatter it on my shield, and I salute him again. And I'm kind of signaling to the crowd, I'm gonna outlast this guy in his heavy armor.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm gonna go a steady, straightforward attack, no bonuses. I'm gonna stay on the basics, but I'm also going again. My left hand is on the pommel of that horse, and I'm really trying hard not to fall off.
So you're doing a basic.
A brace.
A brace. He's doing aggressive, so. Oh my God. Okay.
5d6. So my bonus on this one comes from
defense.
Well, yeah. Well,
I'll let you spend
a writing actually, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. For braced, yeah, brace. But what I'll do is I'll let you spend a destiny point to change whatever you want to, or change your attack since he missed, because it's not going to do any good for you because he rolled a 9. But I'll let you spend a destiny point to pick aggressive or high in the saddle, whatever.
I might as well do an aggressive too, I would say, right? What's high in the saddle? Which one gives me the highest chance of knocking him off his horse?
They both. It's just what is impacted by your defense. One makes it harder to stay in your saddle. One makes it harder to be hit, or easier to be hit.
I want to knock him off.
Yeah. So either one, it doesn't matter, because he missed.
Let's do aggressive too. Might as well.
That's fine. So you spend a destiny point to do that. So 15, that hits. 1 degree of success. And he was aggressive, so subtract the same amount of passive. So so you definitely hit him. Well, actually, his is what? His is...
I might get 2 degrees, huh?
16. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. No, I don't think you get 2. Okay, so yeah, no, it's 1 degree. Okay, so he'll roll his.
Come on, knock off.
Nope. So you break your lance and he misses, and just more, and then the people are starting to cheer for you, and you can tell he kind of looks your way this time, so you're getting under his skin, it appears.
Okay. Good. How many? I have 3 destiny points, right?
I'm not sure. Probably, yeah. It sounds right. Being that young, you probably do.
Not used to the sheet.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's below your intrigue.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, I think. Where is it? Oh, it's at the very bottom. Yeah.
It says only 2, but I thought I had 3.
I
probably never reset it from the other one.
Did you ever? Just 3's fine. You could have 3. I'd have to look at your Excel sheet to know for sure.
So I'm gonna put it 2.
Okay. All right. So he definitely is standing in his stirrups now, and he's ready to ride you down.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to. I see him riding high. I'm gonna try to brace myself and get underneath him so I don't fall off this horse. I'm gonna do braced.
Okay.
Um, 18. Boom.
So you hit each other, both for 1 degree of success. His was high in the saddle, so his is the test if it gets knocked off or not. Yours, you did braced, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, you missed, because yeah, you missed.
Braced gives you a penalty on attack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yep. So he hit you, so you need to roll your riding and +2 to that.
Riding. 14. Okay.
Yep. So his last lance shatters off of you, but you don't go down. And you hear.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying it's starting to be a little D20. Back and forth. I need to get the crowd riled up, though.
Yeah.
So Sir Patric is he goes and he misses, but he takes a shot, and he kind of wavers on the saddle. He kind of actually makes it look a little more dramatic. I don't know if he used any deception or something. He looks like, oh, I'm gonna fall. He's like, he tries it, and he just rights himself up on this horse.
Okay.
After almost being horizontal with the ground, he pulls himself up and he raises his lance, and he says, he's like, if you get me off this saddle, you're gonna have to knock me out.
And you did take 2 damage there, so.
So that's 6.
6. What's your health total? Is it 9?
12.
Okay, so you got a little while. All right, so he's gonna go again.
I need to try to knock this guy off his saddle. So I'm trying to get the crowd reeled up, and again, I'm gonna kind of try to clear my head and lower my shield a little bit and go a little aggressive. We'll do aggressive 2.
Okay. And he also goes aggressive 2. Yep.
So that's actually what 12, 13.
Yep. So
13, 15. So he got what?
17. You got 17 versus your, what is it?
No, you added yours in already. So
Oh, I
15.
did. You're right. Yeah, 15.
You still hit, but it's
Yep.
just
1 degree. So you take 2 damage, and you take 2 damage, and you roll to stay on your horse.
Okay.
So you easily do that.
So he takes a glancing blow off of his helm. The helm kind of spins to the side. He staggers, keeps his shield up, and eventually is able to control his horse and right his visor again. And he spins around and looks down at Brandon, and he says, don't lose hope. I've trained a lot for this. I'm not going to fall with this horse no matter what I do.
Brandon's like, are you okay? He's hit you several times.
He opens his visor and he spits a bit of blood out. And he says, okay, no such thing as okay. I'm alive. That's enough. It's ready to go again.
Mm.
I gotta knock this guy off his horse. It's my only chance of beating him. Let's do an aggressive 2 again. So it's starting to get, the crowd's starting to get antsy.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone back and forth, 6, 7, 8 times.
Mm-hmm.
And clatter against the shield again. I'm going to give him a good show if I don't do anything else. So, get it going.
So you guys both hit. But yours is, he hits you for 2 degrees of success this time.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So you have to, so you both did aggressive, so you don't have any penalties to this roll. So you have to beat a 12 and he has to beat a 9.
Stay on.
Yep.
Son of a bitch. No penalties?
Nope. Okay. You guys shatter lances against each other, and
I take 4, though?
yeah, you take 4 damage.
All right, let me see here, though, because that's 6, 8, 9, 10. That might be it.
Well, you can always take an injury. Right. What's your total health?
It's 12, yeah. So
okay.
I just hit my health threshold.
So you need to take an injury. So basically you subtract your endurance rank from what you took. So an injury will give you a -1 to all your rolls.
So I'll take 1 injury.
Okay.
And then instead of taking 4, I would take what?
0. Mm-hmm. If your endurance is 4.
My endurance is...
If you have 12 hit points, your endurance is 4.
Yeah, my endurance is 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to scratch that one out. I take 1 injury.
Yep. So you'll have a -1 to all your rolls.
It's not good.
So the crowd is chanting. Some are chanting, Sir Patric, Sir Patric. Some are like, Sir Ballman, Sir Ballman. And it's like, you guys have went like 10 times and broken many lances against each other. And the crowd is a fever pitch now. And just like, it's like kind of like a NFL game, on the goal line type of thing. People are just, getting into it. Yeah, exactly. And so Ballman, he's completely unhurt because of his huge armor. He like kicks at it again and he's coming hard. You can obviously tell.
Okay. See here. I'm trying to think if I hit him 18. But what would my character do?
You can also use a destiny point to roll another dice. So instead of rolling 5, you could roll 6 by using a destiny point.
I think I might do that and just go aggressive and go for broke and try to get this guy off his horse. So if I hit him, what's his saving throw thing?
He rolls.
He has to beat what, 12? You said.
Well, it depends on how many degrees of success you get It's the same for both of you. If you get 1, you have to beat a 9. If you get 2, you got to beat a 12. If you get 3, you got to beat a 15. And 4, you got to beat 18.
Let's go. Let's go for broke. 66, keep 3 plus 2.
So you guys both hit again. Did you subtract 1?
No, it'd be 15.
So his is -2 from aggressive. So you did hit. You both hit for. He hit for 2. You hit for 1. So you take 4 damage. First off, so you need to take another injury. Yeah. And then he has to beat 9, and he does. You have to beat 12 to stay on your horse.
And I have a -2 now, right?
Yes.
I fall.
Yep. So go ahead. He lays one lance finally into your chest, and how does it go? You can go ahead and narrate it.
So I'm kind of sucking air a little bit, but kind of high on the adrenaline of the moment. I circle my steed around. I look down at Brandon. He's looking at me with his hopeful eyes. He wants to see a hero. And I give it all I got. I know this is my last chance. If I don't hit this guy and knock him off the horse now, I'm not going to have the stamina. So I go ahead and I hit him, and his armor is just too thick, and I feel a good solid thwack on the guy. But then I turn my head, and his lance just comes right across my helm and boom, stuns me. I fall backwards, and boom, black. I wake up, and I'm on the ground. There's a little bit of blood in my mouth. My ribs are hurting, and I hear the crowd just chanting. Ballman, Birch, Ballman, Birch. Down goes the fire eater. Down goes the fire eater.
And even though there are a lot of cheers for him, you do hear, even in defeat, many cheers for yourself as well. And Brandon hustles out and helps you up to your feet, and he's like, "Are you okay, sir? Are you okay?" He gives you his shoulder to lean on, and
he kind of nods his head, and he feels that a couple of his teeth might be a little bit loose. And he takes off his helm, and he doesn't have his lance anymore. Doesn't have his shield, and he kind of drops his helm at his side and raises up his hand, trying to get the crowd worked up.
And there's quite a few cheering for you still. And Ballman Birch kind of like rides towards you and pulls off his helm, and he's like he's sweating, but other than that, he's completely fine. And he's like, "Your skills are inept at best, but you have heart." And he turns and he just rides off without another word.
And he was mentored by some pretty stand-up people, so he just kind of gives them a salute and again bows to the crowd. And he kind of limps off with Brandon and says, I'm going to need some jerky.
Give me some power jerky.
I need some jerky.
So they lead you back off towards the tents, and you kind of lay in your bedroll for a while, and kind of the ladies of the retinue that you have, none of them you're interested in whatsoever, but they like basically wrap your ribs and clean the blood off your mouth and stuff like that, and just kind of lay in there and just resting, convalescing type of thing. And a big burly guy peeks in to the tent. He's probably maybe 60 years old. Hold on one second. Let me get this picture. Just 1 second. 1 second. So,
no.
Yep. He kind of looks down at you. Huh?
Didn't he die or
get
taken captive?
He didn't die. That was 9 years ago. So he he's got his arms crossed over his chest, and he's like, "You're Sir Patric, right?"
He says, just kind of clears his head. And he's like, "Yeah, I think so." Until that lord nearly whacked it out of me.
And he kind of like half smiles, and he's like, "You're a friend of Malcolm Stokeworth, correct?"
Aye.
He's like, "They want to see you. He and Lady Talia Hilwood."
He cocks an eyebrow and he's like, "Aye, a lady. What would she want with a low hedge knight as me?"
He's like, "That's for her to decide." He's like, "I left directions with your friends. You're to come tonight and sup with a lady."
He kind of looks to Brandon and say, "Hey, what did I tell you? Stick with me. You're gonna go places, kid."
And as Otto steps out of the way, and he's like, "Make sure you bathe before you show up."
He says, "I'll do that. With perfume too, my lord."
And he just shakes his head and departs.
And he kind of reaches up for Brandon and is like, "Help me up. We gotta get pretty for this evening."
And he helps you up, and the ladies help bathe you. And
Your royal penis is clean, my lord.
Yeah. And so
coming to America.
Yeah. And so that's it. The next session we'll have will be you guys starting at dinner. So
sweet. I liked it, man. It's fun.
Yeah. I just kind of did that one off my head. I know I was going to do probably 2 rounds of jousting. That's it. So
it's a good quick session.
Yeah.